Hey guys, it's Bethany. Tonight I'm going to show you how to make brownies from scratch. So I don't normally make brownies from scratch. Yes, they're great, yummy, but I feed a lot of people on a pretty regular basis, and there ain't nothing like grabbing a couple of dollar box mixes, tossing them in a bowl, mixing them up, and somehow getting credit for making brownies at work. What? I told them it's box mix. They still seem to love it. But today, I'm going to show you how to make brownies the good way. You ready? Let's make some brownies. Okay, ingredients. Not a whole lot. I like to say this, the fewer the ingredients, the better it normally tastes. It's just, cooking doesn't have to be hard. Baking doesn't have to be hard. Just use good food and care a little bit. You're gonna be fine. Let's see what we got. Half a cup of flour, quarter of a teaspoon of salt, because I never use salted butter, 10 tablespoons of butter. I'm gonna use 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Y'all not gonna expect this from me. 2 large cold eggs. I almost always tell y'all, bring your ingredients up to room temperature. You don't want extra chemical reactions, but today we're going to be in charge of the extra chemical reaction. We want cold eggs. Unsweetened cocoa powder, I'm going to do 3/4 of a cup plus 2 tablespoons. Science. And did I already say the sugar? I don't know. 1 1/4 cups of granulated sugar. That's it. That's what we're going to make brownies out of. You ready? Let's make some brownies. Okay, first step. You can choose to do the double boiler thing, right? But it's not true double boiler. You could take a saucepan and put a little bit of water in the bottom and just barely bring it to simmer and just set this on top and just very slowly let it get warm and melt your butter and put your flour in there and get all your ingredients warm. That's where our cold eggs come in. We're gonna make that chemical reaction, but I'm gonna be a little bit lazy today. I'm gonna melt my butter in the microwave, and honestly, I'm probably gonna hit my other ingredients for like 10, 20 seconds, and we're gonna move on. I don't wanna play that game. So, when you are melting butter in the microwave, you're gonna put it in for 10 seconds at a time, okay? You can let it sit in there for a second or two if you want to. Sometimes that speeds things up, but you don't wanna leave it in there for like 20 seconds or 30 seconds, because you're gonna burn your butter. And burn butter is no bueno. Don't burn your butter. 10 seconds a pop, okay? See you in a minute. Okay, hi, I'm back. So I have almost melted my butter in the microwave. I think it took me 30 seconds in my giant bowl with my 10 tablespoons. There's just some little chunks in there now, okay? Because I'm cheating and I'm not doing it the hard way. So now what I'm gonna do, because I want all of my ingredients to get kind of warm, or at least these ingredients, I'm gonna put my salt and my sugar and my cocoa powder in here, and then I'm gonna finish melting my butter and put it all in the microwave. So there. So here, let's see what we can do. All right, so just a little tip, since we're doing this, never scoop your ingredients. If you do that, they'll be compact and you'll get way more ingredient than you intended. Instead, spoon it in, right? If you need one of these and you're at one of my parties, I'll send you one. Okay, it's good for about, I don't know, half a cup, something like that. I don't measure that way, but then you just take a butter knife and wipe off the top. And now I have exactly 1 cup of sugar, and it's not condensed in there, so it's correct. Some people weigh their ingredients. Y'all know I'm too lazy to be weighing stuff, so we're just gonna make exact measurements. Old school. So, okay, cut, and I need a 4th. So we'll just repeat that again. It's in there, okay. Let's see what I'm doing over here. I'm doing 3/4 of a cup of cocoa. So, I'm gonna make a mess with my cocoa, because I always do, but I'm gonna still spoon it in there. So here's our 3/4. Maybe. same idea, all right? Although this is a much smaller opening because I haven't moved my cocoa powder into any kind of Tupperware. So I'm just working with my little, honestly, I go through it so fast. It'll be gone tomorrow. There's my 3/4 unsweetened cocoa powder, okay? And yeah, I didn't make a mess, surprise. And, 2 tablespoons. So here's my, oh, that's my teaspoon. Here's my tablespoon. I found it. Okay. 2 tablespoons. Same idea. Just take your little knife and scrape it off the top. You don't want rounded unless your recipe says rounded tablespoons, right? So 2 tablespoons it is. And then I'm gonna do 1/4 teaspoon of salt. That's because I use unsalted butter. Again, because baking is science and I need to know how much salt I have in there, and I don't like guessing at what whoever put the salt in the butter decided needed to be in the butter that day. So anyway, here we go. And no, I'm not being horrifyingly precise with this because honestly, it kind of takes some effort and I don't want to, but I will scrape it out. So here we go. Here we go. There we go. All right. So I've got my mostly melted butter, my sugar, my cocoa powder, and my salt in here. Let's just stir it up. You guys will notice I almost always use silicone utensils when I have a chance. This is not gonna look like anything close to brownies. It might be a little like gritty looking, right? That's okay. It's gonna get better, I promise. But I just kind of want to mix it, and then I'm gonna actually hit it for maybe another 2 10-second rounds in the microwave, and then I'm gonna pull it back out. And I'm gonna do that because I want it to be warm. I don't want it to be hot, but I want it to be warm. That part's important. Okay? Here we go. Okay, so I hit it for 2 more rounds of 10 seconds. It's warm. You don't want it hot. It looks like sandy mud or something grosser, but whatever. It looks dark and brown and gritty. There you go. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is the chemical reaction part. So we're gonna start with our vanilla. Yeah. I said I was gonna do 2 teaspoons. I don't usually do. I don't know. I just kind of, I like vanilla. I like it. All right. We'll stir it up as we go. So there's our vanilla. And then we're gonna do our cold eggs. Ready? And the cold eggs are gonna hit the warm butter and ingredients, and something magical is going to happen. Ready? Here we go. I mean, you won't see it, but you'll taste it later. Oh, you want to stir after every egg. So you just want to mix it up really well. Okay. So just kind of got thicker. One more egg. Okay. All right. Okay. So now we're pretty combined, right? You want it to look kind of more like luscious, flowy. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's gonna have more bounce to it. Maybe that's the best way. It's gonna look prettier and it's gonna have more bounce when you're fully combined. That's what the egg's doing for us. All right, then we're gonna put our flour in. So this is our very last ingredient, flour. And same idea, right? So we'll spoon it in. And if you'll remember, we're doing 1/2 cup. We're just gonna put that in there. So now we've got our flour, and we're gonna stir that up once we get this stirred up, we're gonna put it in our pan. I'm gonna use an 8x8 dish. I'm gonna use a glass dish, probably. I have a silicone form on the way that's gonna be pretty amazingly cool. And I can't wait to try that on brownies because I think it's gonna make it so much easier to cut them. But you'll just have to wait till it gets here, just like me. And then maybe I'll show you. So we're mixing this until it starts to kind of pull away from the bowl, right? So when you're mixing it, you'll see it kind of holds its shape, right? That's what you're looking for. And then we're gonna put it in our pan. All right, so here's my 8x8 pan. And then I've got some baking spray. I don't want my brownies to stick to my pan. I'm using glass, you can use metal. It honestly crisps up a little bit better on the outsides, but I like glass. Okay, so, and then we're just gonna put our brownie mix in our pan. Here we go. Once you put it in the pan, we're just gonna pop it in the oven. We're gonna pop it in the oven for 20 to 30 minutes. Start looking at 20 and kind of eyeballing it, right? And then maybe every 5 minutes after that, if you put a toothpick in it and it comes out clean, it's done. So, there we go. And I'm just gonna wipe all my brownie off, and you can use your silicone to get it off the side of your bowl and your pan so that it doesn't cook weird. And then we'll just kind of hang it in there. All right, brownies, see you in 30 minutes. Okay, so we actually went for about 40 minutes in the oven. It's because of the type of pan I'm using. So I'm using a dark glass pan. A metal pan will cook faster. It even matters if you're using a shiny metal pan or a dark metal pan. Everything matters when you're baking. So you'll get used to your favorite thing, and then you'll be able to gauge your temperatures a little bit better. But it's always a good idea to just put it at the lowest point and then just kind of look at it every 5 minutes or so. And you'll be able to kind of get the gist of how far you need to go with it. So we ended up at 40. Brownies. I'll cut these up in the morning and I'll show you the finished product. Oh yeah, the reason we're on a wire pan. When you pull anything you've baked out of the oven, or really anything that you need to cool, use a wire rack. The reason for that is because when you use a wire rack, you're cooling all the way around instead of just on top. So if you guys are burning the bottoms of your baked goods, get one of these. It'll get better. I'll see you in the morning. Good morning. I slept through all my alarms. I'm about 10 minutes late. I'm gonna cut these puppies up and leave them here for the boys to find when they wake up in the morning, because they don't have to work weekends. And then I'm going to work. So let's cut these brownies, okay? We're fully cooled. You don't have to wait till it's fully cooled. You can let it be slightly warm, but I do most of my baking at night, and Mama needs sleep. Get a big knife, sharp, no serrated edges. Spray it down with some nonstick, okay? It's gonna help. The biggest problem with cutting brownies is that it gets stuck to your knife. It's a pain. Okay. Alright. I kind of help that by taking the extra off, right? So it doesn't pull it. Good. So, let's see if we can get them out. The first brownie is always the hardest, right? I usually stick a little butter knife down in there. Ah, brownies. I'm totally gonna try one of these before I leave because Mark is home right now, and I'm pretty sure there's not gonna be any left when I get here tonight to try. It's gonna be this one because I broke it. I like to eat the broken pieces. Makes me feel like I didn't eat a whole brownie. I'll probably eat more than that anyway. That's not the point. Okay, so once you work your butter knife down in there, this spatula particularly is really good for pulling out brownies because it's got that narrowed point. That's the hardest part to brownies for me, is just getting them out of the pan. All right, check it out. We have brownies. Let's see what today's like. Dang, that's way better than box mix. Brownies.